has been absolutely killing it lately with its original programming like Orange is the New Black, House of Cards, and of course Stranger Things, and many, many other ones. But now there are some of those are some of my favorite shows. However, Netflix has been known to do something else, which is resurrect old shows from the dead. Whenever, for whatever reason, a popular TV show gets canceled or canned or taken off the air, Netflix can swoop in to breathe new life in it, just like it did with Arrested Development. Anyways, I'm your host as always, K-Mac Time, and today I want to go over my picks for my top 5 shows that Netflix should bring back to life. Now, before we get into this list, I just want to say that these are my own personal opinions and they're a little bit biased, and they're based off shows that I liked or still like. So and on top of that, they are in no particular order. Anyway, if a show that you love or want to bring back isn't on this list, just drop a comment down below telling me why Netflix should bring it back, why it would be a good fit, and why it was a good show. But anyway, guys, with that out of the way, let's jump in with number 5, Futurama. Now, this show is one of the best animated series of all time, in my opinion. I can remember when it first came out, I was just a little kid, and I can remember watching it over and over and over and absolutely loving it, loving the characters, loving the universe, loving everything about this show. I mean, what's more iconic than Bender and Fry and Leela and the rest of the gang? Such amazing characters, great voice acting, amazing writing. The writing actually, especially towards the later end of the run, we'll get to in a little bit, the writing was absolutely top-notch. It made for some incredibly deep and heartfelt moments, like tear-jerking moments almost from this animated show and these animated characters that really made you fall in love with them. But anyway, it originally ran on Fox from 1999 until 2003 when it was abruptly canceled. It was later that year that around that time that Cartoon Network bought this and Family Guy and other syndication rights of Fox shows that have been canceled to play on their Adult Swim network. And this is where it really got kicked off. I mean, the show was already popular. Like I said, I was already watching it. I was a fan of it already. But when I really started loving it was when it played every night on Adult Swim. I didn't have to wait until the next Saturday for the Animation Domination to see the next episode. I could see all of them, and then sometimes they play 2-3 episodes a night in a row. You can go through all the seasons pretty quickly, and that's when I really, really started to develop a love for it. And that's when I think that it began to get this massive cult following. It became a fan favorite show. And a few years later, it was announced back in 2009 that Comedy Central was actually picking the show back up to make all new episodes, and they would be releasing in 2010. And when it first aired on Comedy Central on June 24th, 2010, it happened to be the network's highest rated night in all of 2010. It was also the highest rated Thursday night premiere in the network history at the time. However, despite the success on multiple networks, it was again canceled in 2013 after its 7th season, and millions of fans were totally upset by this. The show's creator, Matt Groening, very, very popular cartoon creator, was quoted later in 2014 saying, quote, "We will find a place. Don't worry, it's not going to be the end." And that's basically the last we've heard of it. There's been rumors of it being brought back for a 3rd time, maybe, you know, on Adult Swim again or on Fox again. But I think that Netflix is the perfect spot for Futurama. This just makes so much sense to me. In my mind, this is a perfect fit. This is a match made in heaven. This is something that needs to be done. Like, this show is a perfect Netflix binge watch. It's already 7 seasons to get new fans up to speed. You start putting Futurama on there as you start hyping up the new season, and it'll just drum up so much attention. These characters, like I said, are some of the best animated characters of all time. You got Zoidberg, Bender, Fry, Leela, the Professor. So many great characters, so much left to do in this universe, and I just think like it'd be a great fit. And hopefully Netflix brings it back and brings us back, the Lovable Planet Express crew once again. But we'll have to wait and see. Our next show only got 1 season before being pulled off the air. That's a shame because Limitless showed many signs of being a potentially great long series. The show premiered on CBS back last year, 2016, and ran for just 22 episodes. But for whatever reason, it was not picked up for 2017, for the lineup in 2017 on CBS. No really reasons why. I mean, it was just kind of declining in ratings, apparently. It was only getting a 6.6 towards the end of the season on the rating scale, where it was getting a 10.9 at the beginning of the season. They just, I don't know. Anyway, the show is based off the popular Bradley Cooper film by the same name, Limitless, where about a drug called NZT. It turns ordinary people into geniuses by unlocking the full potential of the human brain. And super fun premise. I love the movie's really good. I mean, I love the movie, but the show was also good. It picked up on a different branch, different person. It follows Brian Finch, who's a 28-year-old burnout, struggling musician. But just after 12 hours after taking this pill, he becomes the smartest person in the entire world. And he's perfectly able to recall every detail of his life down to the millisecond. And is capable of all this great thinking and outside the box thinking, and he makes all these decisions, and then he gets involved with the FBI and helps out the FBI. And Bradley Cooper is actually in the show as well. His character from the movie transitions over to the show. I thought that's a really cool tie-in. I really like that aspect of it, and it's cool to see him. He's a great actor, one of my favorites as well. But anyway, like I said, for whatever reasons, CBS decided to go in other directions. But again, this is a show that I feel would be a good fit for a Netflix audience. They already has that first built-in season they can syndicate onto Netflix, get viewers kind of up to speed with it. Like I said, it only had the one season last year. It did get a kind of cult following, but there wasn't enough to do. I think it's just because CBS's lineup was kind of a different space then and didn't really fit with the rest of the shows they're trying to keyhole it in with. And I feel like it's more of a fit for a Netflix show because there's just a broader audience on Netflix. Something like this could really take off, especially with like a lot of the superhero series that Netflix has been doing. I know that isn't really a superhero series per se, but basically becoming superhuman smart with this pill is something like that. I don't know. I feel like it'd be a great fit. I feel like Netflix should pick this up, and I feel like it's a very good possibility that it will. Like I said, they can go in so many different directions with this. It can take a lot more risks with this because without being on network television and being on a streaming service, you don't have to follow all the stingy rules that Netflix or that cable television would have you to do. Instead, you can go in a little bit darker direction. You can be a little bit, maybe some nudity, maybe some more swearing, maybe some more violence. All those things are okay on Netflix and not okay on so much on cable. But anyway, I would love to see this come back on Netflix. I'd love to see what they do with this amazing premise. Great cast. I love the cast. Obviously, good stuff going on there. It's one of my favorite shows of 2016, and I was sad to see it go, but hopefully Netflix can pick that one back up. Next up is one of my favorite cartoons from my childhood, and it's called Rocket Power. It's from Nickelodeon. Pretty popular in the late 1990s, early 2000s, right when I was around that age. Anyway, it's about four best friends who are into action sport adventures in the Ocean Shores, California. Follows Otto, Reggie, Twister, and Sam the Squid. They were into doing anything extreme sports from skateboarding, rollerblading, snowboarding, mountain biking, and of course, surfing, because they're in California. And it ran for 4 seasons back in 1999 until 2002. There's also a couple of TV movies about this that were actually pretty popular. It was an incredibly popular show with kids back then, myself included. And I can see this getting a new and exciting episode on Netflix with a more modern feel, or even possibly doing a spin-off or some sort of reboot where the kids have now grown up and have their own kids, and then they have their own adventures. I love these characters. I love this setting. I love the high-paced action feel of it. It was like nothing I've seen in a cartoon before or since. I love that they had the California vibe to it, the hang loose vibe to it, and of course, it gave us the term shoobie, which for people like me who know what a shoobie is, people wear shoes on the beach. I use that term still to this day when I go to the beach. I call someone a shoobie every time. It's just ingrained in my head from watching that show so much. But anyway, this is a special part of my childhood growing up, so of course I'm biased. It may not be the best fit for Netflix to pick back up as a show, but for me, it would be something that I would love, I would watch. And I think that kids today would also reconnect with this show. It's something that they might binge watch. And like I said, it does have the 4 previous seasons available to put up and get people familiar with the show. Also has those 2 direct-to-TV movies, which were really good. I love those as well. So I think it could be a good fit. This is someone that's kind of a stretch. I don't see this one ever happening. I think Viacom owns the rights to this show, and they don't really jive with Netflix anymore. They have their own streaming service, so they probably won't ever happen. But it could be a cool fit, and Pipe Dream, maybe somewhere down the road, they lose the rights to it, and Netflix picks it up. Who knows? Next up is a show called My Name is Earl, and it's a sitcom series created by Greg Garcia that aired back on 2005, I believe. I don't know, it was on NBC and it ran until 2009. It was a cool, really fun story about this guy named Earl. He's changed his life after being hit by a truck. He starts to believe in karma, and he starts to he makes a list of everything he's ever done wrong to people and tries to complete his list of fixing all of his wrongs and changing people's opinions about him. And he goes through this whole list, and it's really a funny show. It actually had some pretty enlightening moments in there. I mean, yeah, it was kind of potty humor, it was kind of dumb, it was kind of that, but it was supposed to be. It was funny. It was a funny show. And it had a pretty good cast. I really like Jason Lee as Earl, and the rest of the cast members are pretty good. The one blonde girl, I forget her name, she's in a lot of things, she's pretty popular. The show ran for 96 episodes, like I said, across 4 seasons before finally being canceled. However, the show never really got a proper ending, as Earl never finished off his list. In fact, the last episode ends with a black screen that says, "To be continued." And we're trying to figure out who Earl Jr., his son, who his actual dad is, because we find out that he's not the actual father of him. And they never finished that plot line, never finished anything, they never told you or anything like that. It was just a complete cliffhanger. The show was reportedly pitched to Fox, TBS, and TNT to finish it, but all of them had declined for whatever reasons. However, Netflix, a boom, light bulb. Netflix on this show, if we're ever to bring back, they could do just that and finish it off, give it a proper ending, fill those gaps in the story. And again, it's a show that I feel is a perfect fit for Netflix. The rights are probably not that expensive out there for a dead show like this. It's being syndicated already. And it has a massive fan base. It was a pretty popular show for those 4 years. I mean, yeah, it kind of started to dwindle towards the end, and that's probably why it was canceled. But it was still pretty popular. I remember this show a lot, and people talking about it, especially when it first started. And now that it's being syndicated across the world on all these different networks and all these different countries, more and more people who never saw are getting to see it now as reruns. And it still has this growing fan base. To this day, people are still big fans of the show. People still ask the creators of the show when it's coming back, if it's coming back, how it's coming back, and Netflix would be the perfect resolution for this. It'd be the perfect way to give these fans what they want. Netflix holds the key to this, and I pray one day that we get to see how this show ends, how it has a proper ending, and all that stuff. I would love to see that. Love to see Netflix swoop in and do this to My Name is Earl. What is possibly one of the best shows to ever be canceled after just 1 season is Firefly. It's a space western drama TV series created by the writer and director John Whedon. The series was set in the year 2517 after the arrival of humans in a new star system. It follows the adventures of the renegade star crew of the ship called the Serenity. It's a Firefly class spaceship, hence the name of the show. Anyway, the cast portrays characters who live on the ship. It premiered in the US on Fox in September of 2002, and by mid-December, it had already been canceled. They canceled it just 14 episodes in. Keep that in mind. And you'd be thinking, well, if the show got canceled after 14 episodes, why is it important? Why is it a good show? It must have sucked. Wrong. This show is amazing. It was canceled, like I said, after 14 episodes were aired, and despite its relatively short lifespan, the series has a strong fan base. And when it was released on DVD, the sales were insane because you couldn't watch anywhere. It wasn't available to watch. There was no streaming back in 2002. You couldn't watch it. So DVD sales soared when it was first released back in like 2004. And since then, there have been massive fan support campaigns to get this show back. In fact, it even won a Primetime Emmy in 2003 for outstanding visual effects on a TV series. And it's been ranked in so many things. It was ranked as the number 5 series on the 2013 list of 60 shows that were canceled too soon. Number 5, and it had only been out for 1 year, for 1 season. Other than that, it's been you know, they had a movie they did about this. I believe in 2005 they made a movie called Serenity, which is a spin-off of the series, and it did extremely well as well. I mean, but it was just one movie. It didn't really wrap anything up. It kind of left on a cliffhanger as well. In fact, in 2005, New Scientist magazine's website held an internet poll to find the world's best sci-fi television show ever. And guess what won? Firefly came in by a landslide as the #1 pick. You know what the #2 pick was? Was Serenity the movie. So that tells you how like completely dedicated this fan base is. It's just completely crazy. And that might have been because it was in 2003 or 2005 when it just happened. It was fresh. People might have forgotten about it now. No. In 2012, Entertainment Weekly listed this show as a number 11 show in the 25 best cult TV shows in the past 25 years. That is insane. It only had one freaking season with just 14 episodes. 14! That's it. And it has this many people up in arms wanting for it back, and then just, you know, millions and millions of motivated fans. And like I said, it was cut for just one season, and that's incredibly sad to see that go. It was left such a great story untold, left so many fans left wanting more. The writers and the creators and the cast all stated that they not only would do this, but they want to do this. They're begging for a way to do this, and Netflix is the way to do this. And if they did this, I feel like it would be a massive success. If Netflix did this with all the original writers, original cast, and all whatever, I feel like this could be not only a pop culture hit again, but it could be something that Netflix makes a lot of money on and be like one of their staple original series going forward. You know, you have the Orange and the Black, House of Cards, Stranger Things. This could be on that level, I believe, if they do it properly. But anyway, guys, that's all I have time for today, guys. I hope you guys all enjoyed. If you guys did, make sure to hit that like button down below. If we can get this video to 1,000 likes, I would be greatly appreciative of that, guys. Every like really helps out my channel. If you guys could like and share the video, it helped me out personally a lot. Thank you guys so much for watching. And if you guys are new around here, feel free to subscribe to my channel like this. Get more videos like this in your sub box. Check out some of my previous videos I've done on Netflix or other series and other cartoons and video games and all that kind of fun pop culture stuff. Check all that out. Links in the end slate and description. But, guys, until next time, remember that it's always came back time somewhere. Until then, take it easy and peace out.